to tell you yet who, but we have a very special guest coming in to play X's and O's. You're going to be very, very, very excited about it. So join us on the Annie Fry YouTube channel, and we will be doing that at 2 o'clock for a recap of the week in news and whatever else Ryan Wiggins decides to throw in there. I want to get to our guest. I'm very excited. I love talking to Joe DeVito, famous comedian. Just go to joedevito.com for proof. Joe, welcome back to the show. It's great to have you here.
Oh, always good to talk to you guys. I love that intro. We have an exciting special guest coming up, but first.
But first, yes, that's it. That little tease. We were just talking about trivia nights, and have you ever? Are trivia nights nationwide? Does everybody do trivia nights? Have you ever been to a trivia night?
People are into them. I like to think I've had a lot of trivial nights, but in more of an existential sense. Here's what I've learned trying to do trivia nights. I think everyone should try them because it's a good way to find out which of your friends are complete morons.
That's true. The people who, especially if there's a bar, eventually they're like by around 6, 7, you don't even know where they are anymore.
Oh, yeah. I've never looked at my friends and thought, the way to get these guys smarter is to liquor them up a little bit.
Just make it more fun.
My friends have that. They have the very specific expertise. It's so specific, I can't think of the trivia contest where they're going to say, who did the artwork for a specific Iron Maiden album in 1985? And then I have at least 6 guys I could call for that. For anything else, completely useless.
Have you been to trivia nights before? Have you participated in them?
I remember I've gone to a few. It's like watching Jeopardy. That when you're watching it, every answer comes to you easily. But then when you're actually playing it, you feel like you had like a head wound moments before the contest.
So true. We're speaking with Joe DeVito. He is a regular panelist on Fox News, Gutfeld, but of course a writer and a comedian as well. You can find him at joedevito.com. I always fret going to the trivia night and sitting down, and they're like, "Welcome to Harry Potter trivia," or something like that, and I'm like, "Oh crap! I should just go home right now." Is there anything that people are super, super into that you have that pop culture thing just passed Joe DeVito by?
Oh, well, anything pop culture, I tell people I'm with you up until about 1998. And then after that, I tap out. So if you want to know anything about old MTV videos, old music, I'm good. I know that down to the nitty gritty, but I really, it makes me feel like I've been in a coma. And I certainly don't feel bad. It's like when I hear younger people talk about, they talk about who has Riz. I think, I don't know. Maybe they should go to get an ointment for that. I can't help them.
Joe, this is Ryan. The important question here.
Sure.
How do you feel about the Ringer team that shows up at every single trivia night? Can you identify them when you walk in the door?
They have like uniforms.
Yeah.
Yeah, they come in. They're a little bit too serious. They do that thing where they have stacks of paper and they aggressively shuffle them and bang them on the tabletops. And yeah,
it's like the same as Congress. They go in there and they act like they really know what's going on, and they need everybody to see it. At this trivia nights, they're usually made up of a bunch of teachers, and all 3 of us in here are married to teachers, and we know those kind.
Mm-hmm.
I feel attacked.
It's their moment to shine.
Yeah, you're right. It is. It's a little bit of like we're not maybe the best at everything in society, but tonight you're going to look at us and we're going to be wearing capes in your mind.
Oh, and they're the same exact people that if you had a flat tire on the way home, completely useless.
Exactly.
Shots fired. All the teachers are in school right now anyway. It's fine.
Yeah, right.
Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Joe,
but they're the kind of doctors that if someone had an attack of some type on an airplane, you're not yelling, "We need a doctor." Is there a PhD on board?
That's true. All right, speaking of Jill Biden, when you look at Jill Biden and you see what Joe Biden is suffering from, which is just time. I think he's a victim of time. Do you look at Jill Biden with the disdain that I as a wife, and when I see what she's allowing to happen to her husband, I question that relationship.
Yeah, well, the joke is, she's a doctor, but is she the type of doctor he needs? Because obviously not. I mean, the kind of doctor Joe needs at this point is probably more someone from the coroner's office, just to balance off if his embalming fluid levels are out of whack. They can give them a booster shot, get a little more formaldehyde in there before a press conference. Yeah, that's very annoying when those people are like, ahem, doctor. Yeah, I guess. I don't even know if she's good at what. And I think her doctorate is in education. Like, how much? It's like inception of useless academic credits folding into each other. Like I'm a. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I can't imagine I'm having chest pains. Does anyone have tenure?
All the teachers are in school. All the teachers are in school.
Yeah, do whatever you want. Go for it.
All of our spouses are in school right now. Joe DeVito is with us right now. My understanding is that you are going to be at the Funny Bone streets of St. Charles at the end of June, 27th through 29th. And Brad has told me that tickets are on sale right now.
Yeah, you can go onto the website. You have to scroll through the calendar to get there, but they're there.
To June. That comes after May. So just keep scrolling and get your tickets to see Joe DeVito. When you are doing your comedy sets, I mean, I can't even imagine what we're going to be talking about in June, at least from a political realm, because, of course, you're steeped in that as well. But like the Joe Biden stories, now that we have a category, a folder to put his well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory, like we can put everything post the Her report goes in that folder, and it has a name and a label now. What does that look like to you in the end of June? That's a lot more time to pass that could have drastic implications on the political world.
Oh, for sure. I mean, especially when I heard the results of the Her report, and I appreciate his name actually telling us his pronouns.
Yeah.
I thought that was nice of him. When he said he's a well-meaning elderly man who has problems with his memory, I really was just assuming the next line was going to be, so he doesn't get to be president anymore.
Yeah, wrong assumption.
That's and that's a pretty good legal defense, though. That even if I did it, I didn't know I was doing it because I'm too old. I can't wait to use that one myself.
So, Joe, whenever they say, Joe Biden, sure, he's old. I mean, we'll admit that. But so is Trump. Does Joe DeVito go, doggone it, they really got me there?
Well, I mean, look, they're both old. This is the first election where your third-party threat is natural causes creeping up on these guys. But I can't. Yes, it's a legitimate point. I wish we had done a better job of getting the next generation of people in line instead of going back to 3 or 4 generations ago with these old guys. But if you put them side by side, who's got more energy? Who is clearly more connected with reality? I don't think it's even close. And Joe Biden doesn't even, it really is sad. He's not even the Joe Biden he was 2 years ago. No. And that Joe Biden doesn't compare to the one, you see him from the 80s and 90s, and you just think, look how robustly he's able to lie.
Yeah. He's been consistent in that, though. He's really carried that through the decades and the decades and the decades that he has been in office. Joe DeVito with us right now. Go get your tickets for his show at the end of June on the website for the Funny Bone in the streets of St. Charles. Really recommend, especially if you've never been to a comedy show, go to this. I went to the first one. I think it was when Jamie Lissow was in town. I'd never been to one before. Yeah. And I just laughed so hard. And it felt so good to laugh so hard. We're steeped in all of this muck, and you're talking about natural causes with the president. That's funny because there's a huge element of truth to it. It's only going to get nastier as time goes on. How do you feel how do you see laughter and your ability to make jokes about these things that are important things kind of being like a public service almost for the people who you see across the country? Oh,
well, yeah, I don't know. If we're not laughing, I don't know what else we're doing.
We're dying.
Yeah, it's you need it. And I heard you speaking earlier about the fundraisers, and we do fundraisers at the comedy shows all the time, and that it's a nice way to get an audience in there and actually feel like we're making a contribution with what we do. The only thing I don't like is sometimes at the comedy clubs they'll stack up a bunch of fundraisers in the same night, and one will be for kids soccer team matching socks. And then the other one will be, little Jenny has leprosy.
It's hard. That's really hard.
Yeah, and then you look, and the soccer team's attendance is blowing away, and you'll be like, oh, sucks to be you, little Jenny, because they should throw you some of those socks because your toes are falling off. You're not raising any money for your leprosy. So that part, it gets a little dicey. But, yeah, it is nice that we're able to give something back to society, especially after knowing someone like me who's taken so much.
Yeah, you feel like you can kind of come back around and give back to the people, the capital P
Yeah,
people.
especially, it just feels so much better when it's not court ordered.
It's a little more genuine and altruistic, yeah. Joe, we love having you on. Before we let you go, I don't know what your full capacity is at Fox News, but we see you on Gutfeld regularly. My understanding is that you write for Gutfeld. That story has been, or that show has been on Fox News now for some time, and it has staying power. I think I just saw Jimmy Kimmel. Is it true that he said that this is like his last contract or something like that? I saw Jimmy Fallon doing a skit where he was dressed up as Joe Biden, and he was Joe Biden TikTok thing or whatever. And I kind of wonder if late night TV has so far jumped the shark on the mainstream alphabet channels that what you guys have done with Gutfeld is going to have to be the new thing that people are going to come back when they reprogram these shows when they come off NBC or whatever. They're going to have to look more at what you guys are doing and take a page out of your book.
Well, I'm not sure who said it. Someone who said that things that can't go on forever won't. And I think those shows you see them dropping off. It's so funny because they don't even talk about our show. We're getting monster ratings, and they won't even include us in the discussion of these other shows.
Is there a technical reason for that, or is it just to make sure that they don't give you any more exposure?
I think it's both. I mean, we moved to 10 p.m., so technically we're not late night, and technically that starts at 11. But even when we were creaming just about everybody, and they wouldn't talk about it. But you look at some of the shows that James Corden, when he not only left, he killed the Late Show. The show is being replaced by a game show. So we wouldn't even notice. Plus, this is what we were laughing at, is that when James Corden had his sign-off, he did a farewell to all his staff. And we're watching, we're thinking, well, how gigantic is the staff of this guy's show? He's known for doing karaoke in a car. How many people does it take to do? You can do that while you're going through a car wash. And he's got millions of people on his staff. Of course, at Gutfeld, we've got about 15 people. So it's nice. I don't want to be as much of a hater, but it's good to see that kind of show is going the way of the dodo, because they're up there. They're insulting half the country all of the time. They're not even trying to be funny. I mean, you have to give us credit that, sure, we have our point of view, but we're prepared to be ridiculous. We want to make you laugh. And these other shows, they're just they're just snotty people, and I don't feel bad about seeing them get what's coming their way.
Yeah, Joe, I completely agree. Like when I watch Gutfeld, I see jokes being lobbed at everybody. If Donald Trump says something ridiculous, you guys play it and you laugh about it, and it's funny to us too. Like just because I'm maybe laughing at Donald Trump that night doesn't mean I'm not voting for him in November. I mean, I've got my own brain cells to work with. I'm not waiting for Fox News to come on and tell me what to do and think. But you're talking about these big late night shows having these massive staffs and sucking, and then there's Fox News with 15 people and you're killing it. What a great analogy to what the sympathetic political parties to each of those entities do when they go to Washington, D.C. The idea that one of them's like, get everybody in here, let's expand this, let's make it big, and it still sucks. And then you get good people who know what they're doing and are dedicated to the product, and you don't need to have all that extra stuff around you to be successful. And the Gutfeld Show, and you, Joe DeVito, I know, is a writer there and is a regular guest. You guys are killing it every night.
Well, thanks. Yeah, we're having fun. And if anybody thinks we don't make fun of ourselves, just listen to the way Greg introduces us. There are times where I think, come on, man, my parents watch this show. Like, go easy. Or even the introductions for Jamie Lissow.
Oh, yeah.
It's just contest to, and I'm like, guys, he really did get divorced. Go easy on him.
Yeah.
I talk about his kids don't recognize him. And I'm like, guys, come on.
It is relentless, but we keep tuning in. Joe, we look forward to having you in St. Louis and St. Charles once again at the end of June, and I want to encourage people to go get those tickets now. You will not regret going to the Funny Bone on the streets of St. Charles, seeing Joe DeVito hang out, and I got to check my calendar. I'm going to definitely try to catch one of those shows when you're in town this June, so we look forward to seeing you when you get here.
It's always a good time.
All right. Joe, thank you. We appreciate you.
Thanks, guys.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. He's a writer, comedian, and a regular panelist on Fox News' Gutfeld. You can follow him on Twitter. Go tell him hi and thanks for coming on. If you enjoy Gutfeld, tell him that. And you can follow him on Twitter at Joe DeVito Comedy.